Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Coin Lady channel. Important information will be discussed in this video. To begin, Ripple has just announced a CBDC is now operational on the public XRP ledger. Since this is such a big deal for XRP, I thought I'd make a video explaining why CBDCs won't be created on the public XRP ledger but rather on private chains. In this video, I will discuss a recent announcement made by Ripple and attempt to make sense of it. Continue forward. In addition, I'd want to talk about two fascinating events that occurred in the regulatory sphere just this morning. The first was a discussion of cryptocurrency with lawmakers. That's fascinating, to say the least. I'd want to elaborate on why that's encouraging news indeed. Next, we'll discuss a document just disclosed by Coinbase that reveals the SEC and another major fraud. Please stick around for that. The footage in this video is crucial. The film will kick off with coverage of today's meeting of the House of Representatives. Since it worked so well and led to some promising outcomes, in my opinion. I never thought I'd be in a position to say this, but I've gone to too many of these meetings where nothing is done. This one seems to have yielded a lot of results. Other than the avalanche of cryptocurrency. This is why I'd like to elaborate. At the outset, at least half, and probably more, of the speakers tore Gary Gensler to shreds. Even the panelists who are against cryptocurrency can't help but wonder what the FCC chair was thinking. Now, you heard some idiotic cryptocurrency comments, but no one could explain why the SEC wasn't doing a better job of monitoring the market. Cryptocurrency fans, however, were ripping Gary Gensler to shreds from a more technical angle. However, it must be stressed that virtually everyone in attendance left feeling extremely let down by Gary Gensler. Additionally, I think this is of even more importance. In fact, we saw Democrats criticizing Gary Gensler, which is unusual because parties often remain united even when they disagree on an issue. As such, this is a major step forward. Normally, a political party's members would work together to back the candidates the party has endorsed. Instead, we saw a Democrat absolutely wreck the opposition's approach. In this case, I must call out Richie Torres. His criticism of the dairy industry's fatalities was among the strongest ever made. And that's exactly what we have to keep in mind. At all costs, we must prevent the topic of Bitcoin from being political. We need both parties to work together to ensure Bitcoin's continued success. That many Democrats broke with party ideology and voted against Kerry is, therefore, a very encouraging indicator. And it proves that the Republicans had the same motivations as the Democrats in going after Gary Gensler. When it comes to keeping this market in check, he has failed miserably. Even if they disagreed with him politically, that wasn't the only reason they attacked him. I think this was a really big step forward, and it will speed up our arrival at our target, since people on all sides of the political spectrum are unhappy with the way this market is regulated. The most important thing I've learned from this is that you apparently disagree with her attempt to legislate her way out of the Bitcoin market. Nobody here at the hearing seems to have any faith in the SEC anymore. It would appear that every member of Congress now thinks that the Commodity Futures Trading Commission should control this market or that we need to establish a brand new regulator for digital assets. It would appear that almost everyone has given up hope that the SEC will do its job here. I think this just provides the image that the SEC is assaulting the Bitcoin market, when in reality the market is saying, "Oh, we don't want to be regulated." It is vital that authorities understand this and don't assume that Bitcoin businesses are the only ones not registering with the Congressional Registry. It is now common knowledge that these cryptocurrency firms wish to comply with the law, but are being prevented from doing so by the SEC and Gary Gensler. In my view, after hearing all of the testimony, in the end, I think it was a very good experience. The SEC, in my opinion, will be under a great deal of pressure as a result. Moving on, let's quickly talk about something that Coinbase actually leaked earlier today. As a result, Coinbase is engaging in some serious retaliation against the SEC by making public their interactions with the SEC. It's surprising in a way. This is a groundbreaking assertion that will improve the Bitcoin market as a whole. However, I suspect they're only making it because they will be sued regardless. Bitcoin and Ethereum appear to be the only digital assets on which senior SEC officials have publicly expressed a view, according to a recent communication from the SEC to Coinbase. Now, this is crucial because Gary Gensler suggested in front of Congress the other day that he now considers Ethereum to be a security. We interrogated him personally. Could it be considered theory? Since I'm still a security guard, he decided not to answer so as not to assume anything. Okay. Coinbase is being told by the SEC that the agency has already made up its mind about Ethereum. We were able to speak with high-ranking SEC officials about it. They also assert unequivocally that all digital assets, with the exception of Bitcoin and Ethereum, are now on guarantee. As a result, the SEC has declared that Ethereum is free. It's not safe to use. But recently Gary Gensler said, "Oh, I think it's a security," or at least he didn't directly answer the question of whether or not it is a security. At the end of the day, it is quite evident that the SEC cannot keep a straight face. They need to constantly fabricate false information. In the most recent case, the SEC, like in the past, shifted its defense strategy when it found itself in a bind. If its initial argument was unsuccessful, it would just try to argue in another direction. Therefore, the SEC keeps putting itself in positions where it can't muster a real defense. That's because every one of their arguments is completely unfounded. Now, I frequently tweet with a former SEC official, and he frequently defends the organization. One of the things he constantly tells me is that he doesn't understand why the SEC kept changing its story in this case. He also says I don't get why the SEC was so sloppy with this case. But in the end, I understand why the SEC shifted its story. Now I understand why the SEC has repeatedly presented weak arguments in this case. The SEC's mindset going into this case was, we'll just make something up and make it work because we're the SEC and we know we're breaking the law the whole time. The SEC made an effort to handle everything on their own, but such strategy is doomed to fail before a judge who has a firm grasp of the issues at hand. As a result, they're falling for these falsehoods. If they were doing everything by the book, they wouldn't have to change or distort Bill Hinman's opinion. They wouldn't have to switch back and forth between 15 competing explanations, either. They're just winging it and trying to figure things out as they go. They would lose and not have to resort to these measures if they had actual proof that all of these digital assets were securities. If only they'd properly control this market to get it in line. This, and this are why it's a safe investment. We informed them they needed to come in and register, and they still didn't. Indeed, they are capable of replying. We sent them this application to fill out so they could comply, but they never did. Nothing like that happened. The SEC is basically telling these companies that they may relax. You say it's probably not a security, and then, actually, it is a security, which comes as a complete surprise. Our thoughts have evolved. This case can now be filed. I feel terrible about this. And this is more proof that what has been happening is exactly what it has been described as. It's also not an elaborate scam. As a final bit, I'd like to share a brand new and really exciting video from Ripple. This video was produced by Darren Moore, Jr. It's something I always reiterate. Have a look at them. I trust his advice more than any other XRP figure. Even so, allow me to present you with this video. Given that some people outside of the XRP community say that a CBDC can never be built on the public XRP ledger, well, I guess that proves they were wrong. Listen closely as we analyze this. But this is a very exciting development. In such case, what are our findings? There have been 2 announced projects thus far. The following 5 rows contain financial authority and are also connected to NDA. Cannabidiol, or CBD, is a genuine thing in Baton. In Palau, the US dollar is utilized as a stablecoin, and the country has a central bank that has produced a currency that is making steady improvement. Palau has its own government but no central bank, thus the country utilizes the US dollar instead. That's why we're putting out a reliable USD currency. Bitcoin on the public blockchain and public ledger, usable in this country. Since it can be applied to other areas, that is very intriguing for innovation. Policy is releasing a dollar-backed stablecoin. You just heard someone who is an advocate for welfare. Still, I've heard some people trying to argue otherwise. You overheard his exact words just now. According to his statement, it would be dispersed using the XRP blockchain. There is no private XRP ledger that we are aware of, but it is where we have a CBC running in real time. The entry is recorded there for anyone to see. This proves that many XRP ledger-created CBDCs will be available in the public ledger, putting to rest concerns regarding private ledgers. The notion that 5 additional projects are being kept secret due to the NDA might be more intriguing, though. A large quantity of CBDCs may be sitting on the XRP ledger, ready to be released once the Ripple SEC issue is fixed. Furthermore, not every one of them will be as small as Palau. It's possible that Brazil and India will be 2 of the major ones. What happens next is completely out of our hands. The number of XRP transactions, however, is high in both Brazil and India. In addition, they are each other's Ripple partners. My final point is that everyone predicted the SEC would outlaw Ripple. No one else seems to give a hoot about this. When Ripple ultimately wins, this case will be over. Once XRP is defined, a great deal more institutions will want to launch CBDCs. XRP will be the sole transparent coin, and Ripple will dominate the market. I really value your attendance today. I'm hoping you enjoyed this video. If you did, at least for the time being, remember to like and subscribe. It means a great deal to me. See you later, bye.